Hey, what's up, guys? This is Rapid Fills here. Thank you for tuning in. I'm doing a different video here today, so I'm doing a freestyle type of video, and I just want to make sure that you follow me on Twitter. Make sure you follow me Twitter at Rapid Fills. I post my charts here, post my ideas, my watch list in the morning, my executions, and what's going on in the day, and hopefully I provide value as much as I can. Believe me, minimum P&Ls, as I believe the P&L doesn't really deliver the information, but the chart does, where you enter and exit. Reason why I'm doing the video is because I posted a 30-minute chart of my entries and exits on NIO, and I got a couple questions on the DMs asking me, wow, can you share like a more detailed chart? I can't really share more detailed chart. The reason being is there is a lot of errors. So I'm bringing you into my chart. This is how I trade off my charts. I don't think this is actually a fully loaded chart, but let's see if it is. Okay, here is one. So this is how, no, it's not, but this is how I post my charts. This is how I post my charts on Twitter. So let's start from the beginning. Why this was on my radar? This thing was extended from this base right here, which is around $7. Went all the way to 1250s per se. And then today, I was expecting this thing to kind of wash and people take profits on it. So this thing gaps up, and then it comes right back down and kind of starts holding this lower trend. So when I started holding lower trend, I was looking at this as a short. I waited for that try to go green on the day. It tried and it got slammed. I got short, popped back up. Again, I'm shorting when it rejects. I'm not anticipating anything at this point, and then I'm just playing the chart. So I'm shorting right here, VWAP stop, came right back down, covered at a support from the pre-market, right here, and then I added when I saw the reject of the VWAP, and then I covered, added, covered, and I covered everything. What I found out is the stock, as soon as it hits the lower day, the first time it bounces. When it hits the higher day, the first time it bounces, or it rejects, or kind of reverses. That's exactly why I covered everything right here. I actually was thinking this thing is gonna hold right here, and it kind of popped back up, but then it did not. So I added right here, and then I covered everything towards the lower day. So we have the lower day. I have a support right here. I have the 11 number. So a lot of stuff came into this, and it was a pretty good snap. So we're looking at 50 cents almost on an $11 stock. And I covered everything. I just thought, okay, let me see what's gonna happen next, right? Sure enough, this thing, it just goes all the way to higher day, rejects again. It's a higher day, the first higher day reject, and I started shorting heavy right here. So I shorted when it started to actually confirm. I added to my short, and I covered under the VWAP, and then I took it all off. Reason being is this thing just held VWAP. This thing can really squeeze people. When that resistance held again, I added, covered, added, covered, added, covered, added, covered, and it just walked it all the way through. Now stock bounces all the way from the lows to VWAP. Now we have this supply zone. I shorted right here, covered, shorted right here. It did not go my way. Covered, added right here, based off of this situation right here, which is the high where it rejected before. As soon as it rejected, came back down. I thought we're gonna go back to that 11 mark. It bounced back up. I covered. That was a good call because it goes all the way back to this zone right here. Now we're playing this zone again. Shorted, covered. I saw a lot of size going on, so I closed it. I went long right here because of the size, and I started holding. So I went long, and then I shorted. I covered it, and then I shorted because when I saw it, it couldn't really bounce. and then I closed it. I just left it alone, and then all the way to this right here. So we have this line right here that rejected. So rejected this pre-market resistance. I got in super tiny. One thing I want to point out here, when I'm trading above the morning range, which is this range right here, I'm trading super small, especially on the front side. So this is small, 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 and then the next one would have been the 1230s, because I think this is the high on the day. So yeah, 1220s. So 1220s, 1230s right here. This was my next zone to actually add, right? But this thing just washed. When I washed, I took my profits right away. I just didn't really think of it. Took it off. It was too much headache, and I was still on the front side, and it kind of had me 3 adds in, and then I had to add the 4th one, which is supposed to be higher, but now it's kind of basing there. So it was like too much. I wanted to see a ramp up, get me in, and then wash. I want to take my profit, be out. Anyway, so I waited for this to actually go and hit highs. This thing goes all the way to 1370 is my pivot. Not sure why my pivots are not popping, but let me see. Configuration, including scale. Okay, here's my pivots. So when I saw this ramp up wash, it came right back down. I thought this is it. I got stopped out. It was wrong. It lost that support. I added. Didn't wash. Size came in. I covered. Tried again. Did not work. And then I got in small. I added to the pivot. This is where the pivot came in. So I added the pivot, and then it came right back down as support. I covered everything, and I'm like, okay, let me see what's gonna happen here. As soon as it started, the pivot started holding the stock. That's when I started hammering with size. So you can see I entered, I covered, I added, add, cover, add, cover. So every time I'm just adding and covering all the way through until after market. Actually, you can see this support right here, which is resistance. It popped all the way there after the market hours. I just shorted right there, covered that support, added, covered, and I was done with it. So this is my NIO trade today, and then the other one was PDT. PDD, this thing, as you can see, if you were on my Twitter, I posted my PDT chart this day right here. When it ramped up, it had like an engulfing candle, popped back up, I shorted, covered, shorted, covered, and I walked the stock through. So the next morning, which is yesterday, the 6th, it popped up, and then it came down and it washed hard. So the next logical thing, all these shorters right here going to get squeezed for a little bit or cover their positions, right? Take profits. So this thing popped up and it just couldn't go through. If you go to the 15, you will see what I'm talking about. You can see doji. I got in pretty heavy, and then I got spooked because this thing, if I go to 1 minute, it's good to be real in the stock trading, because people make it seem so easy and it's so 1 + 1 = 2, but this is reality. I had massive shorts right here going on, and then I saw this high and low that may be forming. I got spooked out, so I covered like 3/4 of my position right here to give me room if the stock is actually going all the way and getting squeezed. And this is a massive range on the stock. So we're looking at 91, and my short is around 98.80s. So we're looking at $1.20 gap that we need to fill. So I don't want to have my shorts down here when the stock can potentially go here and then come right back here and maybe never even touch my average to ramp back up. So I got spooked. I covered 3/4 of my short, and then I started adding right away as soon as it starts cracking, and I covered everything. I was done. I wanted to focus on NIO, and this stock was like kind of taking my attention from it. So this is what happened there. And then I saw this ascending triangle going on, so I shorted. Instead of covering, I was busy with NIO again. Didn't take any profits. Pops back up. I didn't short again and didn't take profits, but I saw it when it cracked because I was glancing at my P&L, obviously. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. This thing is gonna go to VWAP. So I add some, and I failed to stop out right here, which is I supposed to. But obviously I had room to add, so I added right here at a resistance, and then I added right here at a resistance, and then my plan was to add right here, and then if it actually holds, I just want to cut it. Mind you, these are super small compared to what I had going on right there. So anyways, this thing did not go and hit me there, and if this hit me or I got stopped out after the ad right here, it would have been 1/3 of my profits on the stock. So just to give it a perspective, this thing comes back down right here, bounces and comes right back down, and it gets bought back up. As soon as it gets bought back up, I just hit the key. I didn't want to have any headaches. Now here's the one thing that you need to see. So let me see if I can find a chart that has the moving averages. PDT. All right, so here's the reality of what's going on behind the scenes. You can see this is the 50 moving average. I'm shorting, it popped back up to the 50. I'm taking it, and then it started holding those moving averages. That's when I stopped out. Now all this is safe. This bounce right here, it's not safe because it's over the moving averages. But this is the ascending triangle that I was talking about. I call it the iceberg. So you can see this right here, iceberg, and then it shorts, and then it pops back to the moving averages. I don't take anything, but then this is where I'm supposed to cut it right here. I did not cut it, and then here, if I wanted to cut it, I would have cut it right here or cut it right here, which is I didn't do. But then you can see the stock reverses when it actually goes over the 50 moving average, then comes back to the 50 moving average, held it once, bounced, held it twice, and it got bought back up. That's when you know the stock maybe start hitting higher, especially if there is a confirmation on a higher time frame. So on the 5 minute, I don't know, I didn't pre-check this, so I don't know if this actually correlate with that or not, but you can see here the stock is actually reversing off of this support right here on a higher time frame. So I hope I gave you guys some information. Another stock was on my watch list was FOV today. This thing popped, washed, and then this thing popped again. It's the same setup as PDT. You're looking for that pop, and then you want these guys to this thing to come back down. So that's the setup right there that I didn't really trade. Yeah, so that's all. If you have any questions, hit me up on Twitter or leave a comment below. Subscribe, like, share, and ask questions if you want to. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.